curriculum and resources are designed to help educators provide their students with knowledge and skills in area of computer science that are universally in high demand across computing jobs. Distinguished gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to invite Professor Technologist Dr. Haryani Harun, Dean of Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Sciences, University Technology Mara, Malaysia, to deliver her opening speech.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera and good morning to Mr. Muhammad Fitri Abdullah, Managing Director of Oracle Malaysia Corporation Sdn Bhd, Mr. Damien Hess, the Regional Director for Oracle Academy Asia Pacific and Japan, and Mr. Jian Lee, Principal Instructor of Oracle Academy Asia Pacific, distinguished guests, fellow colleagues, beloved students, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome and a very good morning to all participants present today, and thank you for joining us at the UiTM Oracle Academy Day 2021. It is my great pleasure to welcome all eminent speakers and distinguished guests, especially from Oracle Corporation Malaysia and Oracle Academy. We are very honored to have you here today to share your knowledge, expertise, and vast experience with us, with the UiTM faculty members and also our students, not forgetting those other participants from the Teachers Training College and also 2 universities from Indonesia. Now, embracing the new norms due to pandemic COVID-19, this event is handled in a hybrid synchronous approach, where we have some physical attendees attending in separate rooms, and also we are joined by others through the online platform. Altogether, we managed to gather about 1,000 participants from all branches of UiTM in Malaysia, all over the country, and also we are also able to get participants from other than UiTM campuses, as named just now, the Teachers Training College from Perak, and also from the Universitas Esa Unggul Indonesia, and also Universitas Bayangkara Jakarta Raya, Indonesia. Today's event marks the collaboration and partnership with industry, which has always been the UiTM drive towards achieving academic excellence and has been highlighted in the Malaysian Education Blueprint 2015 to 2025. The collaboration between Oracle Corporation Malaysia and UiTM has been established for a long time, since the ITM days. For your information, Mr. Jiang and also Mr. Damien, we will name ITM Institute Takdir Mara before 1999, and we are given the status of university since August 1999. So the partnership between Oracle Corporation Malaysia and UiTM have started ever since in the 1980s. We have been using Oracle database to train our students in such a way to prepare them for the industry needs and their readiness, so their learning curve and their trainings are shortened once they join the industry. And today, at the UiTM Oracle Academy Day, we would like to give awareness to all the participants on the education resources provided by Oracle Academy, made available to all faculty members and students. There are vast amount of resources available at the Oracle Academy Hub, including the curriculum development materials and training for professional development, not forgetting certifications. I greatly encourage all faculty members to take the opportunity of our membership to access and use these invaluable resources and services, and and integrate them in your teaching and learning as well as for your professional development enhancements. For all our beloved students, do extensively use the Oracle Academy Hub to explore and gain as much knowledge and skill as possible for your talent development and competency to ensure that you are relevant as well as to ensure that you will be equipped with the future and with the future ready skills. Now, another remarkable about this event is that this UiTM Oracle Academy Day is also part of the UiTM University Social Responsibility Program for our B40 students. There is a special arrangement of workshops on big data technology for all our B40 students, and as we know that UiTM consists of nearly 50% of the students which come from this group. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, I greatly appreciate the dedicated support of our strong and diligent UiTM Oracle Academy Day committee members led by Associate Professor Dr. Natra Abdullah, who has contributed their untiring effort in making this event a success. And I would like to thank and gratefully acknowledge the tremendous support provided by Oracle Corporation, Oracle Academy, and MDEC for this event. UiTM is looking forward to continuous collaboration and linkages through events and training with Oracle Corporation and Oracle Academy. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you, and I hope this event will be a fruitful and productive event. I look forward to learning about the outcomes. By reciting the kalimah Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and seeking the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I am pleased to officially launch the UiTM Oracle Academic Day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Haryani Harun, for the remarkable speech. Before moving on with our program, we will take a 2-minute break. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank Professor Haryani Harun for gracing this event with her presence. Be joining us from her office momentarily.
Quick question. This is Fitri. My slide deck tu macam mana? Because the share option is off. I think can somebody enable the share option?
We will from over here, Mr. Fitri. Okay. Share.
Okay. So next one is mine.
Okay,
actually.
Moving on with our agenda, I will now
Yeah.
call upon Professor Dr. Anintawati Lokman as a moderator for our next session.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to welcome everyone to this keynote session, especially to our honorable speaker, Mr. Muhammad Fitri Abdullah from Oracle Malaysia. We are honored to have you here with us, Mr. Muhammad Fitri.
Okay.
So I pass the platform to you. Allow me to introduce your high profile to the audience. Mr. Muhammad Fitri obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science from Indiana State University, and then a Master of Science degree in Computer Science from Arizona State University, and attended the Advanced Management Program from Harvard University School in 2011. He has nearly 3 decades of experience in the ICT industry, both locally and internationally. He held various senior leadership roles in several Malaysian firms, including Maxinia Berhad, Maxis Berhad, and Hewlett Packard Malaysia Sdn Berhad, Malaysia AHP, over the last 12 years of his career. Prior to joining Oracle Malaysia, he worked as Managing Director of Maxinia Berhad. He was also previously with Maxis as Senior Vice President and Head of Maxis Business Service, where he was in charge of the company's corporate, government, SME, and wholesale businesses. His last position at AHP was the Asian Regional Director for the communication industry for AHP's Consulting and System Integration Business Division. And before that, as the overall director for AHP's Consulting and System Integration Business for Southeast Asia. On August 18, 2016, he joined Oracle Corporation Malaysia Sdn Berhad and is now the Managing Director of the company. So everyone, let us all pay attention to Mr. Muhammad Fitri as this opportunity to listen from the expert with these long lines of expertise and experience firsthand doesn't come easily. Now everyone, please join me to welcome Mr. Muhammad Fitri to deliver his talk on the industry overview by Oracle Malaysia. Over to you, Mr. Muhammad Fitri.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction, and very pleased, I think, to join this session. Let me bring up my presentation deck. Okay, I hope everybody can see the presentation deck.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So first of all, Assalamualaikum. Very good morning. Selamat pagi to the whole of Malaysia, UiTM campuses, I think from Shah Alam to Arau and all over Malaysia. So again, a big thank you for organizing this UiTM Oracle Academy Day today for 2021. And I'm really pleased, I think, to be the keynote speaker for this event. So today I will cover a bit of an overview on Oracle Corporation, also a bit about Oracle Academy, although Damien will cover in more details. I will cover what is happening, I think, to the ICT industry in terms of the changes and what will happen post-COVID. Also sharing some views on some of the research reports on the future computer science jobs that's upcoming, and also a call to action. So if you look at Malaysia, we just announced the My Digital National Digital Economic Program Blueprint. So how can we take up that action to make sure that Malaysia is one of the leading countries in terms of adoption for digital technologies going forward, and specifically for UiTM. And also, I will share that our engagement with UiTM doesn't just end at the end of today, but we also have a plan to work with UiTM, something more interesting going forward in the coming weeks and months. So briefly, just to go through on Oracle Corporation, we are the second largest software company in the world. We are actually ranked right now as number 6 in terms of cloud service provider. So we are number 6, while overall software, we are number 2. Revenue is about 40 billion US. We have over 137,000 employees. And if you look at Oracle, when we started over 42 years ago, the first product that we launched was basically our relational database. And it was at that time for the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency in US. That was our first customer when we started Oracle. And we focus on evolving the flagship product for our database for many, many years. But the last 10, 15 years, the company has been on a major acquisition. So we bought many leading companies like PeopleSoft, possble, WebLogic, Sun Microsystem on the hardware side, NetSuite, which is a major cloud service provider, including Equinix. So those were some of the companies that we acquired. In Malaysia, we've been here over 32 years, and key customers include top government agency, the telcos, utilities, banks, and manufacturing. So just to name a few, like the billing system for Telecom Malaysia is from Oracle. If you look at your PNB unit trust system, where we have all our ASB, ASN, they are running the unit trust system from Oracle. It's an Oracle system called FlexCube. SME Bank core banking is using a core banking FlexCube from Oracle. Financial system for Maybank, RHB, CIMB Bank is all running from Oracle going forward. So a lot of interesting stuff. When I joined Oracle, I think about 4 years ago, I think two main reasons why I joined Oracle as the MD. One was Oracle was investing into Malaysia, that we established our digital hub, serving 22 countries from Kuala Lumpur, where we hired over 200 people, I think, in Kuala Lumpur as part of that digital hub in 2017. And in 2019, we expanded that digital hub to hire additional 150 people. And these are more technical related, I think, focusing on our cloud services. Also, just to let you know that good news, I think, for Malaysia is that we are also expanding the hub to include the financial hub. So the back office for several countries will be set up in Malaysia. So we are quite actively looking for people in terms of contracts, in terms of the back office financial side, I think, and we are in the midst of hiring about 100 people in Malaysia by July of this year. The main CSR for Oracle is through Oracle Academy. So what we do, I think, from Oracle Academy is we provide training to the lecturers as well as materials, which Damien Haas will share in greater detail shortly. So as mentioned, I'll just briefly say, I think Oracle Academy is our flagship global philanthropic education program, which Damien will cover in greater detail later. And if you look at Oracle, we developed the world's first autonomous database. As you know, our database, I think, is probably has a 60% market share. And what we have done is to make the database more autonomous, which means that the need for database administration is greatly reduced. A lot of it, I think, the patching, the tuning is all done autonomously, just like your car, the autonomous car. So that is the first that we have done, I think, that we are providing. We are also number one provider for business software across the solution side. And if you look at our cloud offering from infra as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, we probably have the most broadest and deepest suite of cloud services from Oracle. Yeah. So the offering for Oracle for cloud services, I think, includes from our infra as a service, which includes the compute, networking, the normal IaaS stuff, and also our platform as a service. So you look at the data management layer, the application development, the integration layer, data integration, business analytics, security, all that I think is provided from our platform as a service layer. And also from the software as a service, we are talking about our finance, HR. These are some of the projects, offerings that we have, I think, latest and greatest from our cloud offering. And interestingly enough, I think in all our offerings here, we have embedded many new technologies like machine learning, AI, blockchain, IoT, and also the big data analysis into our application from the cloud side. To share some of the projects that we have undertaken, I think in terms of digital transformation in the Malaysian market. First of all our offerings that I shared just now is being used internally by Oracle itself. So the finance, SaaS, the supply chain, the HR system is used by Oracle itself. And on top of that, we have over 25,000 SaaS customers worldwide. And a lot of it, I think, is focusing on the customer side. And we also spend a lot of money, 6 billion almost annually on our R&D side. Some of the projects that currently we are undertaking includes with Petronas, where we are replacing their old legacy HR system from SAP to our latest SaaS HR system called HCM. That project has been going on for about 9 months and should go live in early August. So this is the largest company in Malaysia going through a HR digital transformation with Oracle. AIS Selangor, big company, state-backed company. They have, first of all, replaced their billing system to Oracle maybe about 3-4 years ago. Then after that, they went with Oracle on moving their financial system, ERP system with Oracle. And right now, they are also implementing the HR system with Oracle. One interesting project I wanted to share is with Pharma Niaga. Also, I think inshallah, I think close by to UiTM. We are actually will be completing this project by early April. This is on supply chain logistics, including cloud IoT. And they will be using this system as part of their cold chain management for the vaccine distribution. So they will be part and parcel of how to handle the COVID-19 vaccine. As you know, it needs a special treatment in terms of the temperature, and then how does it track the lorries, the workers, to make sure that everything is all compliant. Air Asia, I think the whole finance procurement has moved to Oracle, running for the last 2 years. Some other projects that we have done, I think, in terms of moving to cloud. Interestingly, also for some of the banks, Hong Leong Bank has moved their finance and procurement to our cloud with Bank Negara approval. So Bank Negara has approved for banks to adopt public cloud offerings going forward. For CIMB Bank, we have also done the transformation for their HR system for the whole 36,000 employees, I think, moving to our latest HCM solution. And we have also completed the planning and budgeting, part of the finance function. End of last year, I think, just went live. Some of the other projects that we are also working on includes MIDF, Sapura Energy, and a lot of new interesting things that we are doing locally with our customer base in Malaysia. And a lot of this, I think, is using new technologies like machine learning and cloud. So some of the pictures on the training that we work on, I think with the MDAC and all that, just to show that we do actively work out with some of the trainings. And then this is with the MOE, with some of the teachers. And last year, we also had a program training for database and Java programming with the lecturers. One thing I wanted to share, which is, I think is very important, part of UiTM being an Oracle Academy partner, all students and all faculty members and staff of UiTM, you are entitled for free cloud accounts from Oracle. Okay, and the environment that you get as part of that free account is stated here. You get the the compute, the storage, and also access to use our autonomous database.
Mr.
Okay, so
May I, I'm sorry to disturb you. Could you please put the PowerPoint to slideshow?
slideshow. Okay, sorry. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Okay, so this is the environment that any of the UiTM students or faculty members will get free of charge from Oracle because you are Oracle Academy partner. So all this is made available, and maybe later Damien can share a bit of more details, and then maybe we can work closely with UiTM in terms of how do we enable the students and the faculty members to actually use this going forward. So if you look at the key trends in the ICT industry, initially a lot of things were based on hardware, software connectivity, proprietary system, open systems, moving to distributed computing, client server, then best-in-class implementation. And now, I think where we are now at this stage, what we are seeing is mobile and social media playing a big role. Customers will use their handphone to interact and do business with. Being a data-driven company is very critical for the survival of the company going forward. Cloud computing will play a pivotal role going forward. New technologies like machine learning and AI, things like autonomous cars and DB will be more prevalent going forward. And also, because cloud computing is playing a bigger role, cloud native application development will be becoming more and more important going forward. So what we see is there is a generational shift that's happening today in the ICT industry. And in fact, post-COVID-19, what the analyst is saying is that there will be even stronger momentum for the adoption of digital transformation going forward, including IR 4.0 type of technologies like IoT, machine learning, AI, and all that. Yeah. And what we see is that traditionally, companies would spend all their IT budget on their computing systems in their data center. And what we see is that by 2025, 50 to 60% of their IT budget of the big companies will be moving to cloud services. Okay, so that would be something that will be happening, and it will be a hybrid world where companies will have smaller data centers, but they will be also subscribing to maybe not one, but several cloud service providers for services. So it will be a hybrid world going forward. So in Malaysia, just recently announced, maybe about 2 weeks ago, so Malaysia announced the My Digital program, which is the National Digital Economy Blueprint, which covers connectivity in terms of how do they expand broadband connectivity. I think all over Malaysia, including the remote areas, and also the government will be creating a special purpose vehicle for 5G rollout, which they plan to start by end of this year. Also announced a cloud computing program, which is basically a cloud first policy for the government. And they have also announced the first batch of the cloud service providers and also the managed service providers for the government. They've also announced a lot of plans in terms of training and reskilling of the people to adopt digital technologies going forward. There's also a strong program in making sure that the SMEs in Malaysia will be adopting e-commerce and digital technologies going forward to make sure that they can compete in the space going forward. And at the end of it, I think it is anticipated that 500,000 new digital jobs will be created as part of the My Digital program from the Malaysian government. Just to share that there is a big, strong push from the government in terms of pushing the digital agenda going forward. And from the some of the reports on the job side, according to LinkedIn, these are the new jobs that will be becoming more and more important. Things like data scientists, customer success specialists, data engineer, and also the requisite skills that is required for those new jobs that will be coming online. And so those are important, I think, for both the students and the faculty members to make sure that when the new students are graduating, that they have those requisite skills to make sure that they can fulfill those job requirements for the new jobs for the future. Also, I think from the World Economic Forum, I think early part of last year, there's also views on some of the newer jobs that will be coming and growing, I think, going forward. So this one, I think, also good to keep track of to make sure that the new graduates are also being targeted for these new jobs that will come online. Also, there was a new report from the World Economic Forum, I think Jobs of Tomorrow report, October 2020. And what they are showing is what are the emerging jobs that will come out. I think interesting to see AI and machine learning specialist is one of the emerging jobs. Data analyst, scientist, big data specialist. And I would say that UiTM is a bit special because the faculty is not just computer science, but it is actually computer science and also mathematics. And clearly, I think if you look at the data space, there's a lot of element of mathematics that's embedded in terms of data science. And you look at it, some of the redundant jobs that will go away. So what they are saying is that there will be many jobs which are going to be redundant. There are also emerging jobs that will also grow going forward. So it is important, according to them, that there will be about 85 million jobs that will be made redundant. But at the same time, 97 million new jobs will come alive, and a lot of it, I think, is digital based. So it's important for all of us, I think, to keep track to make sure that everybody is having a lifelong learning approach and making sure that we are relevant to make sure that we have jobs going forward. So the last slide I wanted to share is that there is a big shift that's happening in the ICT industry, and with the post-COVID, there will be a stronger acceleration of adoption of digital technologies going forward. So it is important for all of us to know the future jobs and skills that is required. And it is important for all of us to adopt a lifelong learning model going forward because things are changing all the time, even for myself. I'm also always learning going forward to make sure that I'm relevant so that going forward. Also for education institutions like UiTM, I think you need to prepare the next generation computer scientists with the right skills and experiences. Also important for education and research institutions to work closely with industry. I think this is a proof point where Oracle is working closely with UiTM to make sure that the real industry is being adopted, I think, from UiTM side. And we probably need more research, I think, to study impacts of automation to various industries. There's always, maybe there is, a limit to automation versus the personal touch. So that's something interesting that maybe for further research to happen going forward. So that's all I wanted to cover. What I will do is now share some plans going forward with UiTM. But in this case, I will have to discuss in further detail with Professor Dr. Haryani and also Professor Dr. Natra on having Oracle Cloud Day event, which is a bit of a hackathon concept, where we want to expose students and academia to the newest technologies from Oracle that's made available from our Oracle Cloud infrastructure. As you know, all students and faculty members from UiTM, being a member of OA, get the free cloud account with the environment. And what these are the things that we would like to do, I think, with UiTM. I think it's just a plan. I wanted to share in terms of what we can do going forward. And this is to ensure that it is a hands-on approach, not just theoretical, but actually a hands-on approach to work with UiTM going forward. So I will just go through in high-level detail. The plan covers maybe about 4 weeks in terms of what we need to do, I think, with UiTM, not full-time. Obviously, this will be done in parallel with the things that's happening in UiTM. So we have a high-level plan that we have here. And also, we will have 2 challenges, one at the individual level, and how do you use the new technologies that's available from Oracle using machine learning and all those things. Also, a team event where we will have groups, maybe 5 people per group, working together, addressing a challenge, and then there will be some prizes that will be offered from Oracle, just a token. But the main thing is how does the students, I think, from UiTM get exposed to developing some applications using these latest technologies that's available in the market. So these are, at a high level, some of the ideas that we have. And in this case, Lokman, are you on the call? Lokman? Lokman? Maybe Lokman is muted. So Lokman worked with me closely. I think he is my architect and designer. I think he's also a MIT graduate. So he is the one who developed this approach. And then what we will do is we will work closely with Professor Dr. Haryani and Dr. Natra to see how and when we should implement this for UiTM. And this is the first program that we are doing, and we hope UiTM will be the first one. And hopefully we can learn a lot of things from this engagement. That's all I wanted to share today. That again, there is a big change, I think, that's happening in the market. It is important for all of us, I think, the students, the lecturers, to develop the next generation computer scientists going forward, so that when they graduate, I think they will have that industry experience and the new technology experience to help them get that new job, where a lot of new digital jobs will be made available going forward. So that's all I wanted to share, and perhaps I think I'm open to take any questions because we are slightly ahead of schedule. So I'll pass back to you. I think any questions for me, I think do let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad Fitri. We highly appreciate your invaluable insights and sharing on the industry outlook. It has definitely opened our eyes to pay more attention to the trends, the reality, the evolution, and the foresight of the ICT industry, especially during and after COVID-19 hits the world. We will definitely would like to hear more from you and perhaps plan a way forward together, synergizing the faculty and Oracle Malaysia. Do you have questions from the audience?
Yeah.
Mr. Mohammad Fitri is open.
Any questions from anything? Any questions? I'm open to answer.
Let's see what we have here. Perhaps one from me, Mr. Fitri, while we're waiting. We'd like to hear your honest view on how do you see the trend and the market demands and the readiness of our graduates in the competitive job markets, locally and internationally?
I would say that from my experience in Malaysia, I think Oracle, we are hiring, as I said, I think recently, I think there is an expansion in our digital hub where we are hiring 100 people, out of which 80 of them I think are local, because the other 20, because of language, and also we are serving some of the countries like Japan, Korea, we need to hire local speaking people. No issues. I think we are the resources from Malaysia, I think highly sought after, and really I think from Oracle side, our business in Malaysia and also in the region is actually expanding quite rapidly because of the digital transformation adoption. And as I shared, I think because of the COVID-19, there is actually an acceleration. So companies are moving a lot quicker in terms of the adoption of digital transformation, either a new HR system, a new CRM system for the customer, finance. So clearly, I think we are quite lucky from a computer science side that post-COVID, computer science will play a bigger role going forward. So we are in the right spot. So only thing that we need to do is to come up for new graduates, quality graduates with the new skills going forward. So I believe it is positive for computer science graduates going forward. We just need to make sure that we train them with the newest digital technologies going forward, and their future should be very, very bright.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammad. We have two questions in line. One question from Siti Rafida Dawam. She's asking about when will the hackathon be?
So we have come out with a high-level plan, which I've shared. In fact, Encik Lokman is my architect to come up with that whole hackathon Cloud Day event. And we have worked out a lot of details. What we will need to do is sit down with UiTM, with Professor Dr. Haryani and Dr. Natra on when we should do it. So we are ready on our side, but we also take note that you are, you got your schedule and other commitments. But from my side, we are ready to start as early as early April. And as we shared, I think the whole program will take 4 weeks, because there will be some prerequisite. We need to make sure that all the students and the faculty know how to create the cloud account. Then we will do some trainings and all that, and then we will do the individual hackathon, just to make sure that everybody gets involved as much as possible, so that they're using their free cloud account. Then the second part will be the team event, where then we will give a more complex challenge. Then they will have to work out, but in the end, I think from our side, I think we are quite ready. But we will have to work closely with UiTM, because also your faculty members will also have to be very active, working with the students, with us providing the support. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. There's one question, I think this one is from a student, one Muhammad Afiq Haikal bin one Aziz. He's asking what kind of training does Oracle provide and how to get the opportunity to train under Oracle.
Okay, so that one, as maybe Damien will cover that a bit later. I think part of Oracle Academy. If you look at it high level, as part of our CSR philanthropy, we provide free training through Oracle Academy. And our model is we train the lecturers, the faculty members, and then they will then train the students. Okay. But at the same time, Oracle Academy also provide a wealth of information in their hubs and all that. So there's a lot of self-training and availability, I think, digitally, that students and faculty members can get access to, and they can also train on their own. So those things will be shared later with I think with Damien, and also I believe, I think we have a trainer that will go into further detail in terms of the curriculum for data science, Java, and all that. So he will also provide the links in terms of how all that training, I think, can be taken up by the students. Yeah. And as I said, I think the other part that we wanted to do is to do this hackathon, so that it's more hands-on. So that then, we want to push the students and the faculty members to open the account and then, hey, do the challenge. And then from there, hopefully, and then the important part is, with that free account, you can use the autonomous database and data warehouse free of charge. This is, leading edge technology available to you. And if you put your resume that, hey, you have very good experience using Oracle Autonomous Database, I think you have a bright future going forward. Or with additional stuff like adding in machine learning and AI and all that. Yeah. So it should be very, very interesting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Fitri. I think that's all the questions we
yeah. So the action item from my side is as a forward is that we can sit down. I think maybe later part of this week or next week to plan for that Oracle Cloud Day event hackathon, and work out those logistics. From my side, I'm committed, and let's see how we can execute on that, and then to make sure that we are hands-on going forward. Yeah. Okay. With that, Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me. I hope it was beneficial, and then I hope the day events will be productive for all parties. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fitri. I really think so. Okay, now we have come to the end of the session. Everyone, we have heard from Mr. Muhammad Fitri on the industry outlook so that we can better prepare our students for the industry demands. So to students, take this opportunity to do a reality check on your ability to compete in the future job market and prepare your skill sets to be more competitive. With that, I pass the baton to the next session, which will be moderated by Associate Professor Dr. Faiz Hanis Abdul Razak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Anita Wati. All right, as introduced by my colleague, I'm Farisa Hanis Abdul Razak, your moderator for the second session. In this second session, we're going to have Mr. Daniel Hess to talk about the Oracle Academy. All right, before we let him talk about the Oracle Academy, I would like to read out some data about Mr. Daniel Hess. Okay, this is what I got from my investigation here. All right, Mr. Daniel has a degree in, actually as a Bachelor of Arts from University of New South Wales and a graduate diploma in Management Science from Canberra University in Australia, and he is now completing a master's degree in management at the University of Technology, Sydney. All right, so I hope that the data that I just read out is correct. Is that correct, Mr. Daniel? All right,
yes, that's right.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, okay. So Daniel, as we know, is the director, is a regional director for Oracle Academy across Asia Pacific and Japan. As a regional director, his role involves the oversight of activities to support Oracle Academy's mission to advance computer science education globally through its portfolio of learning resources and to make it accessible and engaging to students. Oracle Academy is an entirely free and philanthropic program designed to enable higher education learners to advance proficiency in core in-demand skills which are fundamental to modern computing. Daniel also has over 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, and business development within the information technology industry in Australia, New Zealand, and internationally. He has worked for both Fortune 500 companies and small medium enterprises, specializing in market and business development. He has held various management roles with IBM in Asia Pac within learning services. In 2005, he joined an Australian enterprise specializing in learning technologies and successfully launched and managed their UK Europe operations, which included partnering on projects with higher education institutions and participation in their annual online EduCam conference in Berlin. In 2011, Daniel was engaged by Oracle University as an education solution consultant and was subsequently appointed the director of Oracle University for Australasia until his appointment with Oracle Academy in 2016. All right, if I'm not mistaken, Daniel was also used to be in the army. Am I right, Mr. Hess? You used to be an officer in the Australian Army. So with the various backgrounds that you have, I'm sure you're going to be a wonderful regional director for the Oracle entity. And with this, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you actually because Oracle Academy was our sponsor for our conference I user in 2018. So I would like to thank you personally for being our sponsor way back in 2018. All right, so without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Daniel Hess,
provide us with the overview of the Oracle Academy. So, okay, Mr. Damon Hess, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much for the lovely introduction and very warm welcome. And may I say that it is a great pleasure to participate in this important event, which is establishing how we're going to take this partnership with UiTM forward. I acknowledge Dr. Haryana and Dr. Natra for their support in helping us work with UiTM and exploring how we can support both the objectives of the university and also how we can support the Malaysian digital economy together as we move forward into this very interesting and exciting domain. I'm very grateful to be able to have the opportunity to talk to you all today as the regional director. It's very exciting to see countries like Malaysia adopt at national levels the strategies around the development of their digital economy. And our role is to work with education institutions to understand how industry and academia can come together to support the objectives of those digital economy goals. And I firmly believe that the work that we are doing and that we are hope to be doing with you is directly in line with that. And I find that very exciting, and we're very committed to that. I would also like to acknowledge the attendees today from all over UiTM and indeed beyond. And I thank you for your interest in joining us for this today. And my call to action, if you like, for this is that today is just the initial conversation. There will be work that we need to do with you to explore how we can work at all levels in all the specific areas of knowledge to bring this program to light at the University of Technology, Mara. I was very pleased by the opening address by my colleague Fitri as the Managing Director for Malaysia. And I think you would admit that a major part of his presentation, I think, carried some key messages that Malaysia has invested significantly with the Oracle Corporation in advancing its government industry objectives. And that investment is very important, particularly as it starts to adopt the cloud technologies and the cloud applications, which are becoming more and more pervasive across Malaysia. Another key message I believe came out very strongly from Fitri is that Oracle is committed to Malaysia in supporting those advancements, and in particular to support the strategy around the digital economy, which sounds very exciting. And what's very important to us, of course, which Fitri mentioned, is that this strategy is going to evolve the need for a large number of digital jobs requiring digital skills. And that's, of course, where we want to support your institution and your educators in making sure that you are producing students who are ably trained and educated to meet that skills requirement. So Fitri, thank you for that great opening positioning and presentation. Today, what I would like to do over the next 20-30 minutes is to share with you an overview of the program. It would be very difficult to cover everything that the program has, but I will endeavour to cover as much as I can. But as I said just a short time ago, it will be important for us to take the next steps to explain and explore each of the key areas of our program and how they can be leveraged to potentially support your offerings from your university. You know, we have over 70 institutions in Malaysia who are working with Oracle Academy. But our real interest is about working with the institutions who want to adopt the program deeply, to really leverage all of the capability that is there. And that takes effort, that takes work, because we need to work together to understand how can we utilize our program to support your curriculum. What offerings do you have at the moment that may benefit from the program? What offerings could you be developing in the future that might be able to utilize the capability of our program? Now, today you will hear from one of our principal instructors and longtime experts with Oracle Academy, who has a very deep understanding of the technologies from Oracle and how they can support academia. Jan has been doing this for a long time. In fact, many of your educators may already have been introduced to Jan previously. So that will be a very important part, but it is only the first step. I would reinforce that what we were looking to do is to work with each of your educators and help understand what sorts of things your educators are looking for. So for example, if you are teaching data science, if you are teaching database and program, if you are teaching AI and machine learning and big data and a data analytics course, these are the sorts of areas that we want to explore with you and others, but certainly to explore with you how our programs, assets and resources can support that curriculum in the classroom for the benefit of your students. We have a lot to go through, and I'll get started in just a moment. But I guess the main message here is that this program is about working with you in partnership to develop the best curriculum that will enable your students to undertake the digital jobs of the future. And on that note, I will commence. Hopefully you can all see my screen as I advance through, and my audio is working. I just wanted to start with a brief positioning here around the key Oracle technologies that our program is really looking to bring to the institution and to you as educators. Now, Fitri mentioned initially the autonomous database. And for those who have been following the history of Oracle, you will know that the database is absolutely fundamental to the capability that we've been bringing to industry for decades. But now we proudly support that research and development and innovation with the release of the autonomous database, which carries all of the history and all of the capability that we've had before, but now provides you with a capability with a much lower overhead and indeed a much lower complexity. What's important too is that this autonomous database works directly with the other technologies around AI and machine learning. And as you will see, brings together a whole data science, big data capability that underpins many of the new innovations in industry. I will talk more about the autonomous database shortly, but Fitri certainly positioned that this is key to the offering that your educators and your students have available to you through our program. Fitri also mentioned, and I like to reinforce, that the trends that we are seeing both in the job market and indeed in the developments in industry are largely based around the opportunity for organizations to process large amounts of data. And they can do that with very low infrastructure, obviously via cloud technologies. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is key to how those capabilities are being exploited and bringing new capabilities to organizations. We have embraced artificial intelligence and indeed machine learning, and we'll be looking to support you in how you want to demonstrate and bring that into your particular curriculums at your university. Machine learning, as I mentioned, is also embedded in many of the applications and many of the processes that we are seeing out there in the digital economy. So we wanted to make sure that we could provide you with the capability to help you provide an understanding to your students on the relevance of AI and machine learning and how they can start to develop the skills and understanding about this important environment and developing in that environment. And the fourth And final key technology that I wanted to embrace here is around big data. Now, whilst Oracle has many capabilities and offerings around big data and a range of services, it is really the fundamental capability of big data that we want to talk about with you. And that capability is underpinned by the availability of cloud computing. And combine the cloud computing with big data, AI, and machine learning, it brings a whole new dimension to the way we're able to present data, to analyze data, and build business applications that embrace that incredible, powerful technology. It's these key technologies which really are part of the Oracle story. And whilst I'll be talking about other applications, those applications are really underpinned by these key technologies. So, why are we working with universities? Because we fundamentally believe that students should be learning about these technologies at university for their own benefit, and indeed for the benefit of the industry in general. As Fitri mentioned, there are a growing number of jobs and well-paid jobs in this particular area. And in life, we are continually increasing our dependence on the digital economy. So it's certainly in the students' interest to be engaging with these courses. And we need to be developing the courses that are going to provide the students with those skills that are relevant to their employment and the workforce development that they need. You know, Fitri mentioned about the 500,000 projected digital jobs that will be coming from the My Digital Economy initiative. We can see here that other countries share the same challenge in the demand for ICT workers, the growing demand indeed. And we want to be able to help our education institutions meet that demand by presenting graduates to industry that have the requisite skills to help the digital technology be embraced by industry itself. So it's a very relevant topic, no doubt. I think a point that I'd like to go off to here is that we are not talking about just people doing computer science degrees. We're not talking just about computer science graduates. We're talking about computer science being a fundamental part of what people need to be employed in almost any job today. So the opportunity to provide a computing education component across a range of degrees is very important, so that students understand when they go to their utilities company, to their manufacturing company, to their government job, that they have a good understanding of these digital technologies and how they can be leveraged to produce a more efficient and effective environment. So that's a call to our students. And that's really where Oracle comes into play with this philanthropic program. And I have much pleasure in being able to work with education institutions around the region to bring this free program to you, to say, this is what we would like to be able to do to help you improve, to build, to create your education experience for your students. It is a free program, it is a global program, and we are indeed helping millions of students around the world to achieve their goals around a computing education program. And how do we do that? Well, as Fitri mentioned, essentially, this is a relationship between Oracle and the educators of the education institution. This is about helping the educators have access to a wide range of free resources that they can incorporate the way they wish into their respective curriculums. Whether that curriculum be around data science, big data, programming, application development, blockchain, we are looking to say, hey, we have some things that could be of real use to you. Very practical use. And some of that you'll be seeing as we go through with Jean. When we talk about providing not just curriculum and guidelines, but also labs and exams and tests and quizzes and a whole range of things that you can bring to your classroom. Hopefully to help bring those teaching points to life from an organization that is deeply involved in advancing those particular technologies, as I've said. As an example, and some of you will already be exposed to this, we have a curriculum or a range of curriculums associated with our database pathway. And of course, we see database technology being a fundamental technology that students need to be aware of, if indeed, as practitioners, as they move through their computing science education. And we provide a pathway through a range of courses. And here you will see database foundations, working through programming, and ending with an Oracle Application Express, which is our low-code application development environment. And we provide a curriculum for you to be able to share with your students on how to develop in this environment. We also, as many of you know, provide curriculum in the programming side. Again, a most fundamental skill for people in the computer science domain. And these pathways, whether they be workshops or actual curriculums, move from fundamentals and foundations through Java programming right up to a course, a curriculum in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And in these environments, in these curriculums, we are providing you as educators real assets that you can share with your students, both in labs, both in exercises, and indeed in quizzes and exams, to really help you fill your syllabus, your curriculum, each week of your semester with interesting content. In addition, we have a whole library of resources, which we call the Oracle Academy Education Bites. Now, Jin will refer to these in his presentation, but this library is very large. It consists of materials that you can exercise in hands-on labs, in projects and challenges. It has real data for you to be able to do these things with. We provide videos and presentations, which are underpinned by curriculum assets, focusing, as the slide suggests here, around our Java capability database and other data science technologies. These can be used with your curriculum. It's like going into the library and picking what would I like to use, what's going to be useful, and how do I implement them into the program. Now, what's important with all of the curriculum that I've just described and the additional curriculum items that I will cover perhaps later, is that we at Oracle Academy are here to support you with how to incorporate that into your curriculum. We provide you with free training and professional development on how to utilize these capabilities into your curriculum. And indeed, we are available there through our support network to take questions, to take specific projects that you might be interested in and help you understand how these can be leveraged. So you're not on your own. You have in time zone people who are available to support you implement these resources into your curriculum. And that's very important. I mentioned before about our curriculum focus being around those core key technologies, AI, machine learning, database programming, data science, data analytics. But we are also able to help your university with other curriculum outside of the computer science area. And an example of that is our ability to support the application of a project management suite. Our project management suite is called Primavera, and many universities globally have implemented Primavera as a capability to help students learn and practice project management as part of their tertiary studies. Whether you're in the engineering department, in a life sciences department, an architecture department, or indeed an IT services department, project management is another fundamental skill that people will be utilizing for enterprise applications when they move into the workforce. And we want to help them understand what a leading industry application looks like and incorporate that into your university's curriculum in project management. We have other capabilities like this that are delivered to you from Oracle Academy that we would look to explore. Now, when I do talk about exploring this with the university, I'm very pleased that we have a very experienced representative, whom many of you know, in Nurul Huda. And Nurul will be available to work with the university and each of the educators and faculty in understanding what we've got and what's available and how that can be utilized in every classroom that you determine. Importantly, Fitri mentioned that not only do we provide the curriculum, but we also provide our Oracle Cloud program, which is based on the Oracle Cloud infrastructure that is being utilized by many institutions and indeed businesses and enterprises in Malaysia now. What's important here, though, is that we are providing this cloud infrastructure to you free for the educators and for your students. It is an always free service, and that free service is basically built around, as Fitri described, basically built around our autonomous database, providing you with some compute capabilities, storage, and importantly, this very key application, Oracle Apex, which is an application development environment that you can build low-code applications natively in this cloud environment. And we continue to bring applications and other services to you via this cloud program that you will be able to incorporate into your classrooms. Now, why is this important? Well, it's largely important because you are now utilizing one of the world's key cloud platforms. It's available to you free, but it's also taking away the overhead of having to have on-premise environments within your faculty, within your department, indeed within your university. And this provides you as educators and administrators a great opportunity to be able to work not only in the classroom, but to allow your students to access the power of this cloud technology. As I mentioned previously, and as outlined by Fitri, the core component of this is the provision of the world's first autonomous database. This database basically becomes your sandpit. It is the database, in fact, two data instances of the database that you can create your exercises and programs and labs to utilize in your classroom. And importantly, your students, through your educator, will also be licensed to be able to access their own database, which they will have forever, even when they leave the university, as long as they keep using it. They have the compute VM capability, which is very important, and other aspects, which I believe Jen will go into in a little more detail. As I mentioned, with the autonomous database, you also get some free tools for application development. And these will be very meaningful for many of you. And knowing that you can access these free of charge via the cloud with the reliability of that service can be a very powerful tool for you to practice some of these important concepts and learnings in the classroom. So there is a very brief overview of the components of the Oracle Academy program. We have also built what we call our member hub. And this essentially is the portal where each of you as educators and indeed as students would access these capabilities. And it is your own personalized portal. You receive your own single sign-on to this portal as a signed up member of Oracle Academy. And then via this portal, you can explore all of the assets and capabilities that are available to you free via the program. And importantly, you are then able to assign your students a login to their student portal, which gives them the opportunity and their place to access all of the learnings and the learning design that you have implemented. Now, whilst I mentioned previously about the offerings we have around curriculum, we also have a range of offerings beyond that we want to be able to work with you to say, hey, is this a way that you can enhance the learning experience of your students? For example, Are your students interested in a potential Oracle certification? Is that something that we want to explore with you through your classroom as you'll help your students graduate with the best degree and the best qualification possible? Those certifications are available through the Member Hub, and you can expose them to your students via the Member Hub. We also have the opportunity for you to attend a whole range of events. We call them knowledge builders. And these knowledge builders are available to you as faculty, and indeed, if they're relevant, you can invite your students to them. Think of them along the lines of a visiting lecturer that is coming to your university to talk about a specific expert topic. And that's indeed what we do. We have local Oracle experts, or indeed experts from our global offices around the world, who will come and provide information about what is happening in the world of AI and machine learning, what is happening in the world of data science and blockchain and the digital economy. And the students have the opportunity to hear from these expert speakers, as indeed you as educators do. And we're very pleased to be able to organise that for you and invite you to these very significantly attended events. But coming back to the Member Hub, this is your portal to access a whole range of assets. But primarily, let's have a look at our curriculum. As I mentioned, you get a single sign-on and you sign into the Member Hub into this portal. And once you as faculty assign your students, they also have their ability to sign into their own portal, which understands who they are and provides and presents to them all of the information that is relevant to their learning. Jen will be spending some time going into this Member Hub because it is a very important place, not just for you to utilize the assets, but for you to actually do your own exploration about what you can utilize. And importantly, here we have a catalog that you can search to identify the relevant assets, whether they be curriculum, whether they be videos, exams, presentations, challenges, quizzes. This is the way that you can investigate and then bring those into your learning. And then what you do as the instructor is you create that learning place for your specific course, for your class, for your group of students. And you assign those learning resources and activities into that place. And then eventually that is what gets exposed by this channel and learning path to your students. So what we've done is we've appreciated that it's not just a case of giving you a whole heap of things to utilize in the classroom, but we also want to provide you and your students a logical place to easily navigate and access those assets. And that's what our Member Hub does. So what's next? Well, shortly, Jen will be invited to step up and talk with you in more detail about some of those curriculum offerings and indeed take you through the Member Hub and talk about some of our assets. For me, this is an introduction and we are very ready. We sit poised to support the university and all of you as educators in how you might want to engage with this program. It is a very personalized experience because we have a very broad basket of capability. We want to be able to work with each of you to say, what's important to you? Are you the programming lecturer at the university? If so, what assets within our basket are utilized or can be utilized by you? Are you the database lecturer at your university? What assets can we have you look at and explore to help build a great program, etc. That I think is the call to action, and we look forward to working with you over the coming weeks and months and years indeed in how we can build a great program with whatever offerings the university wants to bring to their students. So on that note, what I'd like to do is to, if we've got a moment or two, maybe for a question or two, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we can move forward with our presentation and demonstration from Jen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Hess, for your presentation. All right, we have some questions for you. I hope that you don't mind answering them. All right, this question from Aisuddin Hamza. Okay, he asks you about the specific, okay, what are the specific programming languages that are advised to be learned other than Python? Okay, this is for the students, okay, generally. So, what
Yes.
is the programming language other than Python to be learned at the moment?
Yes. Look, there are many programming languages that we see in industry, and there are programming languages that are very good at being utilized as a way of helping students, perhaps very early to the programming environment, right through to students that are very experienced in the understanding and the concepts of programming. Python certainly is a great environment, and Python is used in many areas in the machine learning environment. But as students would appreciate on graduation, that Java is a very significant investment by many industries and organizations around the world. And so we have put in a lot of investment into providing you with an understanding of Java, JavaScript, and a whole range of capabilities around that. So that when you go out into industry and you can say that I am an experienced Java programmer, or I perhaps even have a qualification or certification in Java programming, you will find that to be a very recognized qualification. So that's where we focused. And most of our curriculum around programming is built around Java.
All right, so other than Python, so you recommend that the students master their skills in Java programming?
Indeed. We would, I mean, the more Java programming language, the more programming languages that a student can expose themselves to, the better. But the statistics are clear that the most common programming languages out there include Java and indeed Python.
All right, okay. Actually, we got 4 questions for you. I hope that do we have time for all questions? Okay, thank you. All right. The second question came from Norai Shafika. Okay, she asked you about the internship program. Is there any internship program in Oracle? How to apply and what are the requirements?
Yes. Oracle has a graduate recruitment program, and this is something that we would be able to discuss separately outside the Oracle Academy organization, and we would be able to bring that conversation to UiTM as a follow-on. It's not something that we offer through Oracle Academy, but there is a graduate recruitment program where Oracle looks at the potential graduates who could come and work at Oracle. That's really about all I can brief you on in any detail. We'd have to go outside at another time.
All right, okay. The third question actually came from Natasha Aisha. She asked you about the job opening for computer science graduates in Oracle. If there are some job openings for the computer science graduates, and what are the job requirements?
I think I might have to take that one offline because we would take some time to talk about that. But certainly, all of the skills that we've talked about, there are job opportunities across Oracle Malaysia and indeed Oracle in Asia Pacific that could be available to your graduates.
Yeah, let me just step in here, Fitri here. Important that I think you look at our recruitment portal. I think so all our jobs are posted on the Oracle recruitment portal. So I think might be good for you to find those and then see whether the job opening. So you might want to go there periodically to look at those potential jobs. Yeah.
Thank you,
Alright.
Fitri.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Fitri, okay, for your answer. Okay, and last question for you, Daniel. All right, this one came from Halimantan Sadia. She asked you about the cybersecurity. Okay, could you please elaborate in details about the cybersecurity skills that a person should have to become an expert in this field?
Yeah. At this point, we don't have a cybersecurity capability within the Oracle Academy program. However, under cybersecurity, the core technologies that we have described are often part of a cybersecurity education program. So learning the technologies that I've described are very important. But at this point, we do not provide a specific cybersecurity curriculum. But your lecturers could build a cybersecurity program utilizing some of the tools and assets that we have in the Oracle Academy offering.
All right. Okay. Since we keep getting more questions, do we still have time? Okay. All right. Are you okay with more questions, Daniel? Because you're so popular that people, the audience keep. Okay.
Look, I wonder if
questions to us. Okay. Are you okay? Because we got about 3 or 4 more questions for you.
Look, I wonder, would it be sensible perhaps to hold those questions until the end when Jen has finished his presentation and we could come back? Because some of that may well be answered in his instruction. Does that sound like a good idea?
All right, okay. So, all right, okay.
I will be around and I'll be happy to answer the questions and we may also be able to have Jen do so as well.
So this is Fitri just jumping in. So I will also leave after this. I have another meeting. Just to share on the cyber security side, if you look at Oracle, our history is that we provide solutions for the largest companies and government. So we are an enterprise-focused company. So our database, our finance system is used by the largest companies in the world. So we are not, if you look at our pedigree, Oracle, we didn't come from SME focus. We were, our big customers are our side. So the solutions that we provide today, both on-premise as well as on the cloud, is targeting those large enterprise customers that needs to scale up. The security needs to be at a very, very high level. So clearly, all our offerings, be it our technology on-prem and on cloud, is very high standard. Needs to make sure that all the security measures have been taken. So I would say that a lot of the security measures is all embedded in our technology, including the cloud side. But cybersecurity is not an offering that we provide to the market. We put it into our products and services. There are other companies who focus on cybersecurity as a service, but not Oracle. But a lot of the technologies are embedded in Oracle because we focus on the enterprise side of the business. And with the cloud, yes, we can provide those same services for SME also. I think so. Now SME also is a good market for Oracle because of the cloud side. So with that, I will leave and then hope you all have a productive day. Thanks, Damien, for your good presentation and wish you all the best going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fitri.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Fitri, for being with us. All right, we definitely miss you. All right, so, all right, I think the time's not on our side. All right, perhaps the questions will get answered later. All right, so okay. All right, so I think on behalf of my colleague and the audience here, I would like to thank you, Mr. Daniel Hess, for your awesome presentation. All right, so I'm now passing the Okay, the section to my colleague, Dr. Rosiana Osman, okay, for moderating the next session. Okay, so I pass to you, Dr. Rosie, for the next session.
Okay, thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Fariza Hanis. I, Rosiana Osman, will be the next moderator for the next session. So, Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. So, we will continue our event today with the next speaker, Mr. Jian Li from the Oracle Academy. So, Mr. Jian owns a bachelor degree in computer science and master's in engineering. Currently, Mr. Jian Li is the principal instructor of Oracle Academy Asia Pacific. But before joining Oracle Academy, Jian was with Oracle University for 2 years as senior instructor. Prior to that, he spent 10 years in Sun Microsystem as senior training consultant, business delegate, and e-learning specialist. He is also a certified Solaris Java Professional and Oracle Certified Master for Java EE Java SE. And adding to that, Mr. Jian Li is also interested in technologies, particularly related to cloud computing, clustering, and distributed system. So with his deep knowledge in Java technology and databases, thus we are grateful to have Mr. Jian Li with us today to share his knowledge and experience on Oracle Academy Member Hub overview and data sciences. The floor is yours, Mr. Jian Li.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Damien, for a wonderful presentation, and thank you, Fitri, the MD from Oracle Malaysia, to introduce the business in the Malaysia. It's exciting to know that the Oracle Malaysia are going to launch the digital hub, which means we're going to open more opportunities for the graduate student from the Malaysia institution. So thank you, Nacha, and I'm happy for you all to help us to organize the Oracle Academy Days. And thank you all for joining. Take time to join for today's session. So my name is Jen. I work for Oracle Academy as a principal instructor. Basically, my job is give the training in the Asia Pacific, and also develop some of the content to the Oracle Member Hub. Okay, so today we're going to take about 1 hour and 30 minutes to introduce the Oracle Academy learning resources and introduce, I'm going to cover quite a lot of different topics. So if you have any questions, so please, you can leave your question in the chat box, or maybe you can contact with the Nulu. She is the Oracle Academy batch manager for the Oracle Academy. Actually, you are going to take care for your future questions. So today I'm going to focus on the learning resources instruction. So Demi already introduced the Oracle Academy program. Actually, so I'm going to focus, I will take time to go details for some of the features, new features, and core functionalities about the Oracle Academy. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the Oracle Academy Member Hub, which is a portal to allow the academic student to access the Oracle Academy training content or different training resources. And then I'm going to introduce the Oracle learning pathway, including Java, the database, or some of the other data science curriculum from the Oracle Academy. And I'm going to introduce the Oracle Cloud program, which is exclusively available for the Oracle Academy member. So actually the members and students can enjoy the benefit from the Oracle Academy Cloud. And then finally, I'm going to give some of the demonstrations to show you how can we access to these training resources, and how can we leverage these functionalities into your own class. Okay, first of all, I'm going to introduce the Oracle Academy Member Hub, which is the cloud-based portal, which allow the student and the faculty to access some of the leading-edge technologies from the Oracle. Okay, so basically there are two hubs in the Member Hub. So one you can see over here is Member Hub, and another one is the Student Hub. Actually, so for the faculty, you can sign in to the Member Hub, but for student, of course, you can create some of the channel or virtual classroom in the Member Hub, and then allow your student to log in, to sign in to the Member Hub, and then they're able to access different training resources from here. So inside the Member Hub, which provide quite a lot of the content. So all of this content and the services are free for the Oracle Academy member. So which means you are able to access to this content, and then you can customize this content for your own class. So currently we are offering the full curriculum, okay, which contains the quizzes, examinations, practice solutions, slides, student guide, actually everything for your class. So, and then for some of the other topics, we are offering the education bites, for example, for the big data and for the data analytic cloud services. We are offering the different level of the education batch. So you are going to learn some of the leading edge technologies from the Oracle. And we're offering some of the project and the challenges. And then you can use it for your students. So you can ask your student to complete some of the project, for example, for the job project, some of the machine learning project, and the database project, for example. And so over here, you're able to sign in. So once you sign, here's the homepage of the Member Hub. From here, you're able to find some of the learning paths. So pay attention over here, we are just use different terminologies here. So for example, learning paths means, the curriculum, and you can enroll different learning paths, and which will going to appear over here, my learning paths way. So I'm going to give you a demonstration later to show you how can you explore all of this, content in the Member Hub. So once you log in, you are able to browse the curriculum or the learning paths actually. So we just divided these learning paths into different tabs. So you are able to find out, for example, full curriculum, workshop, or some of the education batch. We are also offering the instructor guide or instructor resources, which will give you the solutions for the practice and for the project. Okay, you can think about this as the supporting document or supporting reference for your class. And here is the learning path for the Java curriculum over here. So typically, students are going to learn the Java technology from the Java Foundation curriculum, which is going to introduce some of the basic, concept of the Java environment. So, and then student can move into the Java programming. So if the student feel comfortable for the Java technology, they're able to learn something like the JVM, which gives the student some of the introduction for the Java virtual machine learning, Java virtual machine actually. So they are able to learn some of the internals of the JDK or internals of the Java. So for example, they are able to learn the backcode, which is the internal representation of the Java binary code. And they're able to learn the memory layout and how to performance tuning your application dynamically during the runtime. So, and I think they combine with the knowledge of the Java programming and the knowledge of the JVM. The student can build the application, they can monitor their application, they can manage their Java application, and of course they can performance tuning their application. They know what's exactly happened during the runtime. Okay, so in the Java programming curriculum, we are going to focus on something for the advanced students. They are trying to learn some of the internal or advanced skills for the Java programming environment. And then maybe some students are going to learn some of the for the AI and machine learning. So we are offering these curriculum for the to the student, and then they are trying to learn some of the basic knowledge of the machine learning, and combined with the Java programming language, they are going to develop some of the project, okay, based on the machine learning theories. And we're also offering some of the project and challenges for the Java pathway course, and we're also offering some of the hands-on live. We're also offering some of the new features of the Java. All our curriculum currently based on the JDK 8, which is the most popular, platform adopted by in the industry. But we are also offering some of the new features for the latest version of the JDK, for example, for the JDK 11 and for the JDK 15. So we're offering these, for example, the reflections of the Java, or some of the lambda expression statement in the Java programming language. So you can find out more features of for Java in the Oracle Education Packs. So here's the some of the tools we are going to use to support the for your class. So for some of the students, maybe they come to your class without any programming skills. Maybe they can start from the Alice. I think this personally, I think this is a wonderful platform to learn the knowledge of the programming. So because they're just using the drag and drop, skills, and then they're able to develop something like the animation, or they can shoot a movie by using the Alice platform. Actually, Alice is an object-oriented platform, so the student can apply their OOP knowledge in the Alice software. For example, which support the polymorphism, the inheritance, how to declare your class, your object, and so etc. And for some students who would like to develop some of the Java game, they can try to use the Greenfoot platform, which is tools you can use to develop some of the interesting Java game. Okay, so but of course it's based on the Java language. So if the student already have some of the knowledge of Java, they can jump into the Greenfoot platform to learn how to use these Greenfoot API to develop some of the interesting game, or maybe they can try to migrate other games into the Java games by using the Greenfoot API over here. And for some more traditional programming skills, you can try to use some of the full functional ID. For example, here's Eclipse. So most of our curriculum is based on the Eclipse, but of course you can migrate your Eclipse project into the other ID environment, for example, NetBeans or other development environment. Okay, so here is the NetBeans, Eclipse, Alice, and for the AI and machine learning, we are using the JDK or for the Eclipse. So you have to get your Eclipse environment in order to use this, machine learning curriculum. I'm going to show you later. So here, I just like to give you an overview of the Java learning paths and what exactly it looks like, okay, for this curriculum. So I'm going to exit my presentation and to take you here. I think you are able to sign in to the Hub. Okay, once you go into the academy academy.oracle.com, and then you can sign in. I'm using the testing account, so we'll try to sign in over here. For instance, I'm using my Hub testing account. So here is the so you can see the roles over here is OA instructor. Okay, and then so the first step, I think you can go to the catalog and you can browse. You can try to find out the all available training resources. Okay, so here is the curriculum type. Okay, for the Java, you're able to find over here. So you can click the learning paths, full courses, and then which gives a list of the all available curriculum. So for the Java, for example, here is artificial intelligence and with machine learning in English curriculum. So here, you can click the curriculum. So for example, we are interested in this curriculum, specific curriculum, you're able to go into this curriculum and you're able to see the structure for this curriculum. So for example, for this curriculum, we are introducing some of the basic concept of the machine learning and the artificial intelligence concept. And then we are going to give some of the introduction for the decision tree. Basically, we are going to introduce what exactly information entropy. Actually, we are going to implement this algorithm by using the Java programming language. So you can play with this lesson in the Manha, which take you to these slides. Okay, so here is the slides or details for this curriculum, and then you're going to learn what exactly for this information entropy and how can you use. We are going to give you some of the scenario, and then which allow the students to implement a project, okay, by using the information entropy, okay, combined with the Java programming language. So here is the formula we are going to use for this decision tree. Okay, so it's the entropy, and here's the formula. It's a negative, the summation of the probability times your login base 2 of your probability. So we are going to use this formula to explore the machine learning functions in the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we are going to introduce details about this formula and how can we apply this formula into some of the business or into your project actually. And for each curriculum, for example, and then I'm going to give another example. Or maybe you can start from your full course Java catalog, and which we are going to take you to the all available Java full curriculum. For example, if you are interested into the Java programming curriculum, so you can go into the this curriculum, and then here is the outline for this curriculum, which will give you some of the introduction for the Java, and then we are going to jump into the some of the JVM topics up here. For example, what's exactly the JVM architecture and what exactly the tools available help you to analyze the internal structure of your Java application and what's exactly the class file structure and how can we analyze this class file, so which means internal representation of your source code or your binary code actually, and how can we load your class file into the into your runtime environment actually. So quite a lot of this stuff over here is focused on the Java programming language and JVM. So purpose over here, we try to encourage the student to learn some of the to learn the advanced Java topics, okay? Because the Java technology is part of the programming language supported by the Oracle and supported by the Oracle Cloud Services. You can use the JDK, and then with the Oracle Cloud software developer key, and then you're able to develop some of the cloud management system actually. So Java is part of one of the languages supported by Oracle Cloud Services. But of course, you can use other program language with Python or other language. It's pretty easy for you, okay, to migrate your application into the different programming platforms. Right? So here we focus on the Java platform. but you're encouraged to use other. So if you are interested in the Oracle Cloud Services, yes, you can try to use other runtime environment actually. So here is just like give you an overview of the structure, okay, for the Oracle Academy Java program. And then I'm going to jump into the for the database, because data is the essential part of the for any enterprise. So how can we store your data? How can we manage your data? How to we learn something from your existing data set is important concept for us. So student typically we're going to start how to develop a database application by using the database design techniques, which is some of the methodology, which is a methodology come from the Oracle, such as how can we transform your business requirement into the modeling, into the logic modeling, and then transform into the relation modeling. Eventually, we'll get the basic modeling, which introduce the workflow or methodology we are going to follow, which is suggested or recommended by the Oracle. So pretty professional. So and then maybe the student are going to learn the SQL programming. I think it's essential skills because a lot of the Oracle machine learning techniques support the SQL, which means it's embedded into the SQL programming. So you're able to learn the SQL, and then you're able to develop some of the machine learning applications for your business. And then for some of the advanced students, maybe they are like to learn for some of the procedure programming language like DPL SQL, which is the Oracle procedure language supported by Oracle database, which enable you to declare something, develop something like the trigger or procedure or functions.
Hello, Mr. Tian. I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear you. Your voice is getting slower and slower.
Okay, I'm trying to increase my volume. Okay, let me check
thank you.
my settings. Okay.
Thank you. Now it's okay.
I'm going to try to increase my volume, so it's better.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's be good.
Okay, good.
No. Right. Second. Just trying to. All right. So, and we're also offering the Oracle application enterprise, which is allow the developer to build the web application. Okay, and essentially, actually, this application is run inside the Oracle database. So which allow the student to build some of web application, okay, around their data set, okay, in the Oracle local environment or on-premise environment or from the Oracle Cloud Services. I'm going to demonstrate later about this application development environment. So apart from this full curriculum, we are also offering the hands-on live, the challenges in some of the presentations. So we are going to offering, for example, here's a Health One medical project. We are going to offering some of the business requirement description, and then the student are going to follow the step or instructions in this project document, and then eventually they are able to declare or define some of the database object, okay, from the using the Oracle tools. And of course, we are also providing the development tools to support the database code. Okay, so we are using the data modeler, which is a software you are able to download from the Oracle website, and then you have to install to your local. Actually, it's a developer on top of the Java. So, and then by using the data modeler, you're able to build something like the logic modeling and your regression modeling. So you can mapping your business into the database, or you can mapping your database object into some of the visualized diagram. actually by using the Oracle developer platform. And we also we also support the PL SQL, so you can run your PL SQL statement in the Apex or from some of the traditional local development tools like Cisco Developer. And here's Apex, and we are going to use some of these. So currently, because we are rolling out the Oracle Academy Cloud program, so which allow you to build your web application and to execute your PL SQL in the cloud environments. So yeah, I'm going to introduce this later for in the cloud program. So so that is for the database. So let me give you an overview of these offerings in the MemHub. So here you can go to see there are, if we go back to the catalog. So once you choose, this time I'm going to try to choose the full course database. And then over here, which give you the full curriculum. Okay, for example, here is the for application development foundation. For example, you will click title, and then which take me into the curriculum. So here's outline for the application developer. So students are able to learn, for example, how to create some of the new pages. How can we design the pages in the web application in the Apex? How can we create some of the forms? How can we create some of the controls? So we're going to go details about these functions in the Apex environment. And for each lesson, we are offering the quiz, the quiz and the written exam or final examinations. So as a faculty, we're able to check the progress made by your student. You can check their scores for each individual quiz and examinations in the MemHub. So for the database, we are also offering some of the baselines. The topics you're able to find from the Academy batch, which give us some of the quite a lot of the data science topics. Actually, you're able to find the Oracle Big Data education batch, which give you some of the instruction about the Oracle Big Data. How can we configure the big data environment? How can we create the Hadoop, environment in the local? And we're also offering some of the content for the Oracle Cloud Big Data, which allow you to build a big data environment from the Oracle Cloud environment. And we're also offering the autonomous database. Okay, how can we create an instance for the Oracle autonomous database? Okay, in the Oracle Cloud environment. And we are also offering something for the data science. For example, the VM database or cloud database. Yeah, we're also offering something topic for the data science. For example, Oracle Data Analytic Cloud. So actually, once you get your Oracle Cloud account, you're able to sign in, and then you can create your instance of the Oracle Cloud Analytic Cloud services. And then you can make connection to your Oracle database, and you are able to visualize your application, you can analyze your data, and so on. So actually, we are providing quite a lot of the topics for the data science and how to visualize your data, how to set up your a big data environment in the MemHub. So all of this content is relevant to the Oracle database or Oracle management system. So then back into my presentation. So here is the channel. So basically, we allow the faculty to create a channel. So you can see the channel as something like the virtual classroom. And then you allow your student to access this channel. And you're able to assign some of the curriculum or learning paths into this channel, which allow the student to access these learning paths in the Member Hub. So let me give you a quick demonstration for this function, okay, in the Member Hub. Yep. So for example, you can go into the My Learner menu, and maybe you can choose the Learning Navigator, which give you, we're going to display the structure of your institution. And for example, for myself, because I'm using the test account, so here is my institution name. But for you, maybe you're able to see something like UiTM or some of different institution name over here. And you're able to create some of the channels. For example, I'm trying using the database foundation channel. And in this channel, for example, I'm trying to create a new channel for this demonstration. So I'm going to try to create a new channel. Up here, you're able to give your name to a channel. For example, here is the visual and immersion learning for the spring, summertime, spring 22. Language, I'm going to choose default, and the client is the immersion learning course. Immersion learning course. Here's a full description. Yeah, give some description, and then you ask it out to see. And then you're able to save. And okay, so and then you're able to go back to your, here is the new channel. And then the next step is you're able to create some of the assign specific curriculum into this channel. So let me go back to the home page with some browse and try to select the artificial and the machine learning course. For example, here. Yep. And I'll try to add to channel. So I'm going to choose this new channel. I just created in up. Try to close. So if I come back to the Learning Navigator, and then I can see this new content in the channel. So maybe the next step, we're going to create some of the student account. So for example, I'm trying to create 2 users or 2 student account over here. And then I'm able to specify the expiration date. With that, I'm going to try to choose the 2023 with the end of March over here, and then able to save. So the Member Hub are going to automatically create this new student account for us. So here's a username. Okay, here's the username. And then I try to log in, for example, and then you're going to assign this username to your student. So over here, I try to, yep, here's new users over here. And then you are going to create user profile, for example. And for example, you can sign in from here and try to emulate the page for this student. So once student log into Member Hub, and then they're able to see the My Channel. So from the My Channel, they're able to see the content. Over here is the new curriculum assigned to this specific student account. And then they're able to click the link, they're able to enroll the link, enroll this curriculum in the Member Hub, So once students come back to the home page, they're able to see from the My Learning path for this new curriculum available. And then maybe they can just click the link, which will take student to this curriculum. So they're able to learn, maybe self-study, or maybe they can try to complete, they can access the content, they can try to complete the quiz, they can try to complete the examination over here. And as effective, able to monitor, or we are going to check the progress made in the Map Hub by running the report in the system. So it's pretty straightforward actually. So so here is some of the functions, okay, in the Hub. So how to create channel and how to enroll a student to any specific, curriculums. Yeah. And in the Mama Hub, we're also offering quite a lot of the resources. Okay, so today I'm going to focus on the Oracle Cloud program actually. So once you log in, you're here, you can see the Oracle Academy Cloud program. So as a member, you're entitled to access for this program. It's free for you and for your student as well. It's I think the huge benefit for the Oracle Academy member. So you can enjoy a lot of the free resources from the Oracle. So here's some of the traditional challenges we faced. For the traditional classroom, I think. It's difficult for you to, as a lecturer, actually, I need to set up the laboratory, the runtime environment for my student or for my class. So we need to communicate my requirement with some of the administrators in your campus or in your institution. For example, I need specific software I need for my laboratory. For example, I need JDK8, I need the Eclipse, I need some of the supporting document supporting software, for example, data modeler, and you have to write a lot of the requirement actually for your class. And it's difficult to maintain or update your software, and sometimes you have to patch for some security reason. Maybe you have to update your software, you have to install some patch for your software. So which means we have to manage all this runtime environment by ourselves. And sometimes it's difficult for us to access to this runtime environment. For example, during the holiday, it's difficult to access to your campus environment because for some of the firewall or for some of the network configuration. And now we are offering, Oracle Academy now offering the Oracle Cloud Services, which enable you to set up your environment quickly. You can manage your runtime environment. Actually, you can think about this complement to your existing training model, actually. So you can support your classroom globally, so you can access from anywhere, anytime you like. And actually, you can experience some of the latest technology, the cutting edge technology from the Oracle. And all this software will be maintained or managed by Oracle. It's autonomous, just like the autonomous drive. So everything will take care by the Oracle, actually. So, and then your student will gain some knowledge for the, for example, for the machine learning, for some of the, for the cloud computing concept, and how to leverage the functionalities from the cloud computing area. So basically, we're offering the OCI, which is the Oracle infrastructure environment. And here is details. We are offering the autonomous database and computer VM and storage, and allow the student to configure the network. For example, students learn how to configure the firewall, how to configure the subnet, how to assign the IP address, and so on. Okay, here's the homepage. Once you log into the Oracle Cloud Service, you're able to see using these, to manage your cloud resources or cloud services. So currently we are offering the always free cloud services and plus $300 credit. So you can use this credit to try some of the other Oracle cloud services like the data analytic, MySQL, big data. And then here is we're offering the accelerated sign up, which is exclusive, benefit for the Oracle Academy member. Here is the details for this always free program. So you can enjoy, you can get 2 always free autonomous database, and you are going to get 2 computer VM. You'll get some of the free storage, which support the object storage, file storage, and the block storage. So you can try to access your data via the API, or you can try to mount your block storage into your VM, and you can share your file with other people. And you're able to configure your load balancing, so you can direct your traffic to your any specific, for example, web server or for any services. It's a wonderful experience, basically. And of course, you can monitor your activities, okay, for your application or for your cloud services. And I'm going to go details about this. I did the Oracle Autonomous Database. We're offering the Apex, and we're offering the SQL Developer Web interface, and we are supporting the machine learning notebook, which is supporting Apache Zeppelin open source machine learning environment. So actually, you can see Oracle already implements this machine learning in the Oracle database, and then you're able to leverage these functions in your SQL programming language or in other programming environment. We are offering the REST is the web part of the web services, and it's pretty easy for us to expose your data, okay, where the web services endpoint. So I'm going to show you some of the configurations here. And here we'll also support the different popular programming language. We'll give you access to the drivers. For example, driver, of course, you can download the driver for the Java or for the Python or for other popular programming language. Here is VM. VM is just to think about the some of the virtual machine from the cloud. But typically, it's the Oracle Linux VM. You can get 2 VM for free, and you are able to develop your application in this environment. So I'm going to show you a demo. Actually, I'm going to start some of the server in this VM, and then you're able to make connection for your local to this VM, and you are going to offload some of your work for your local into the Oracle Cloud environment. So how to request your Oracle Academy Cloud account? So just you just need to log in or sign into the Oracle Member Hub, and you have to choose resources, and then you just click the link, request a faculty account, okay, and you have to wait about 1 week or 2 weeks, and I believe you also receive the approved email from the Oracle Academy, which gave you permission to use the Oracle Cloud services. And then you just follow the instructions stated in this email, and just click here, and then you can try to complete the sign up procedure. So what you need to provide is you have to give your email address name, the name of your email address, you have to choose your territorial country name, and you have to choose your region, give you some of your personal information. The most important thing here is to just give you a password. That's all. And then you're able to sign to the Oracle Cloud services instantly, actually. And here's the homepage. Okay, once you log in. And once you get your account, you can request for your student. So if your student are age majority, which means, for example, in Malay, maybe 18 years old, maybe it's meet the requirement for the law and allow the student to use the Oracle Cloud services. So you have to check your local, the age majority requirement. And what you need to have to do is you have to collect your student email address, and then you have to upload into the Oracle Academy Member Hub. And then the student will receive the approved email to their account, email account, and then they're able to sign up into the Oracle Cloud Services. Almost follow the same procedure. So the next step, I'd like to give you a quick demonstration for the Oracle Cloud environment. So actually, I already have for example here, trying to use one of my cloud accounts. For instance, I'm trying to use my cloud account up here. Second, to sign. Yeah, I think here is my and then so I have to provide my email address over here. So once you log in, you can see, okay, here is the hamburger menu, which allow you to access your database or other cloud services from Oracle. And for example, I'm going to focus on the, for example, the autonomous transaction processing database. But of course, you can go into the computer VM. Actually, I have already provisioned 2 Oracle Linux VM, okay, in my account. So you're able to see over here, and there are 2 instances over here, and here's my public IP address. Okay, so for example, I'm able to access to the to my account where the command line. So here I already declare something like the already write some of the script over here. So I'm trying to sign in to my cloud account. So for example, just trying to using the give me another, right? And so let me use, you can use the command line, or maybe you can try to use the some of the graphic user interface. Here I'm trying to use the VNC protocol actually. So, and then you're able to see something from. So here actually you can get some of the virtual desktop, okay, which is displayed into your local from the Oracle Cloud Services. And then here is your cloud environment. And then, for example, you can check out. The beautiful thing over here is you can check out something. You can get multiple, runtime environment. Actually, you can install your Python, you can install your JDK, and you're able to configure some of the server in this VM. For example, here's my development environment. Okay, I'm using for my Java environments. For example, here I already installed 3 different versions of the JDK. Some of the I'm trying to use in the Open JDK. I try to use in some of the JDK 11. I'm trying to try some of the new features for this version of the JDK. And I'm running my application based on the JDK 1.8 or JDK 8. So currently I'm using the JDK 8. So I'm going to try to permission deny. Of course, I have to switch into my sudo. I'm going to try to, for example, choose the JDK 8. as my primary, JDK environment. So here, and you're able to see. So of course, you can use your local environment. Somehow I don't know why it's some failure here. So here's your local. Here's my local environment based on the Windows, but actually you can have multiple, desktop from the cloud and able to use. I can switch, seamlessly from my local environment and into my cloud environment. So it's up to you to, decide which platform you prefer to use. Linux or Windows, or you can deploy some of your application into the cloud environment, and of course you can run some of the application in your local. Up here. So and so here's your VM, and for example, I'm trying to access to my 1145. I'm trying to display for this instance VM into my local, and you're able to access to your Oracle Cloud Services. For example, it's the ATP services. It is autonomous transaction database from the Oracle. And over here, I already create one. So for example, here's the name of my database instance. And you are allowed to create two autonomous database instance in this cloud environment. So for example, you can go into the Service Console, which will take you to give you some permission to access your database where different method. So here is service. Yeah. All right. Take time. I click too quickly, so I have to wait the response from the. I tried to access to the Service Console, which gave me access to my cloud services, database cloud services from here. I think. I'm so sorry. Click too many times. Yeah. And then from here, you can try to access to the DB connection, and you can download the some of the wallet. We call wallet is some of the security credential, and then allow you to access your cloud services from your local. So I'm going to close and try to reopen again for the Service Console. So from here, allow you to give you access to some of the development environment for your Oracle database or cloud database services. And here you can see the performance hub. You can monitor your performance of your database, and you can scale down, scale up. Actually, it's not free. So just trying to use something in the, okay, let me wait. Okay, it's coming, I think. Yeah, so it's kind of, so I have to wait for the opening for these functions. Okay, so let's move to our next slide. So my next page over here is try to, here is our structure for our curriculum design from the Oracle Academy. So the base of this diagram is some of the full curriculum. So we are offering the Java database and data science curriculum to the Oracle Academy member. And then on top of that, we are going to develop some of the other topics, for example, data science, and the hands-on line project, and then allow the learner to access, different level of the training material. Okay, that'd be good. So let me see if it's available now. Yeah, it's coming. And then I'm going to try to select the development over here, which give you a way to develop your, to build your application or build your, by using different, techniques from the Oracle. So you can download your client, you can access your driver for the Python, for the Node.js, some of the popular programming language, and we are also offering the Apex. okay, and SQL Developer Web version, and we are also so the machine learning is part of things embedded in the Oracle Cloud Services. So currently, Oracle support the notebook from the Zeppelin. Okay, so if you have some knowledge about Zeppelin from the Apache, and then you're able to use these functionalities supported by the Oracle database. So currently, Oracle supports more than 30 algorithms for the machine learning techniques from the based on the Apache Zeppelin open source. And we're also offering the RESTful services. And so all of this is the interface we are able to access to your Oracle Cloud services. So let me give you a show, for example, Oracle Apex. And of course, you have to sign in your workspace. You can create your workspace engine. So I already create some of the sorry, give me a second. You know, there are quite a lot of the password or login credential here. So for this demo workspace, I think I'm using the let me take a look. I think yeah, that's right. Let's have a try. Which one? This one. Take a look. Update. Okay, let's sign in. And then over here, you're able to run or execute your statement in the Apex environment. So you can object browser, okay, so to browse your available database object from here. So here's engineering mode table. Here's you're going to browse the table. Of course, you can browse other database object, for example, views, some of the index, something. Here's a structure. So for this, and then of course, here's the data in this engineering mode table, and you can go back to your common SQL commands, so you're able to execute your statement. Okay, from here, for example, I try to select something, you're able to execute something from the engineering mode table, and then you're going to click the run button so you can retrieve your data from your database. So here's give us some of the runtime environments online. So you can give your workspace to your student, and then you can configure their environment. Actually, they are able to run the SQL, PL/SQL, or other, even the machine learning in this environment, actually. So, and then you are able to access, for example, the SODA, is RESTful Web Services. If you like to show something, for example, you'd like to show some of your data without any programming. So in this case, you are able to okay, so and then all right, I'm going to copy again. So you can configure your update. For example, here is my SQL workshop, and then you're able to go into the RESTful services. You can expose some of the data or your internal structure outside by using the by creating some of the module in the Apex. So here I already create some of the endpoint of the web services. Here's student all. So I'm going to try to display some of my okay. Over here I'm trying to open a new. So here is the items I'm going to try to access from the database. So without any programming, I just declare some of the endpoint in the database where your web services, and then you're able to access this. And you are able to launch your web environment, for example, SQL Developer Web. Okay, so which give you an online version of the SQL Developer up here. So, and finally, I'm going to give you an example of how to leverage the Oracle Cloud Services in your classroom actually. So here's some of the demo time. And the purpose of my demonstration is I try to give you quick demonstration for some of the how to leverage these functions in the Oracle Cloud Services. So traditionally, we try to we are going to ask students to develop some of the to implement some of the algorithm or some of the application. For example, we are going to implement something like the bubble sort, which is something it is we are going to use, for example, it's typical pretty common. We are asking the student to implement some of the algorithm, which are pretty simple. Actually, this code comes from the Java programming curriculum. So maybe you can ask the student, okay, here I'm going to give you some of the array. Okay, it's based on Java. And then you're able to implement this algorithm by using the Java programming language, for example. And then, so here's your code. And then you have to test. You are able to test this code. So you have to write something like the sort exam. For example, here we are going to write some of the testing code over here. Pretty straightforward. I just fit your algorithm with some of the array, and then you have to, sort it out, and then try to run this example locally, which means I'm going to give your input, and then maybe to get the output from here. So, which means we are going to using the local computing power. But sometimes difficult for the faculty to, for example, his assignment to your student, it's difficult for the faculty to, to check this code, right? For example, you can imagine if we have 100 students, okay, which means we are going to have 100 different, package or Java application. So it's difficult code for us to run this, each, application for your student. For example, you have student from student 1 to the student 100, which means you are going to have 100 Java applications. So which means you are going to receive 100, local Java applications, and then maybe you have to run each one, individually on your local environment, and then you'll get some of the result. So how about we can run this? How about we just create some of this server in the Oracle Cloud Services, for example, in the Oracle Cloud VM, and which means you're going to ask your student to develop the same algorithm, and then you have to provide the student a client application. And then students are able to run the client application. This, a bubble sort algorithm code we are going to be load dynamically during the runtime into the Oracle Cloud Services. And then this piece of the code will run in the Oracle Cloud Services. And then in the Oracle Cloud Services, you're able to collect all information. For example, student name, their source code, actually for everything. And then you're able to store this data into the Oracle Cloud Services. And then you can try to analyze their data to, the performance, for example, everything actually. So I try to create another scenario for here. It's my client code. Actually, we are going to run the same code, but eventually this code we are going to run in the Oracle Cloud environment. So here I just state, okay, here are some of the, I have to specify your IP address of your Oracle Cloud VM. And then, for example, we can ask your student to provide their name. For example, he's a student 3, from the UiTM, for example. And JP, here's your code name, here's your class name, and here is the student, for example, ID, for example. Right? So we try to run this application, and hopefully we are going to get the result. Okay. And if we check back into my cloud environment, for example, from here is my cloud environment. Here's my server. I deploy into my cloud VM. And so here's my VM. I already run over here. And from my server, I try to make connection into my Oracle database. So if we take a look about my database, for example, my Apex, and then we are going to go back to my Oracle Cloud database again. We're able to see, sorry, my session is fine. I have to log in again. Maybe have to mode voice, we're able to sign in. So let's go back to the object browser. And we're going to check again for the engineering mode. So this time we're able to see there are 3 records. So here's the student 1, student 2, here's my, here's assignment submitted by another student. Okay, so over here. And here's the source code for this algorithm, for example, possble. So if you're going to try to run again, for example, here's another student. I try to emulate another student. Over here is another student comes in to submit, maybe by deadline, maybe on Friday. So the student are going to run this application again for another student. For example, here's student 4. And we're going to run this application, dynamically. And then as a faculty, we're able to, for example, I'm going to check again for the remote engine. So you can see that here's a new assignment or new task, has already been, run during the runtime in my Oracle Cloud Services. And then able to see, okay, for this student, which here's the elapsed time, the submit time, is the March 15th, the time, is the student ID and student name and the student class name, is the source code. But of course, you can try to collect more information during the runtime. And then if you collect enough data, I believe you're able to use the machine learning to analyze their source code, their performance for everything. So the purpose over here is, and of course, you're able to, by running the web services, you can refresh again. This time you are going to get 1 to 3 more, information from the web services, and no problem. So my demonstration over here is trying to say there are a lot of the potential. So you can leverage the functions from the Oracle Cloud Services. You can try to combine the VM. You can deploy some of the server, and from the server you can try to collect some of the information from your client, for your student, for example, and then you're able to upload your data into some of the centralized location of the Oracle Cloud Services, and then you can use your SQL to retrieve your data. You can manipulate your data, and you can use the Apex to build some of the web application to display your result to your end user or for your customer. Or maybe you can try to use some of the machine learning algorithm, in the Oracle database to analyze your data. So everything has to be ready. So my suggestion, you can export all these functions come from the Oracle. And the good thing over here is all these services are free for you to use, and all of these things are online. So anytime you can, you just you're able to just share the link to your customer, to your student, and they are able to access this data from anywhere, anytime. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to allow your student to gain some knowledge or get some idea about the cloud computing and machine learning, and how to analyze your data. And of course, and another function I try, okay, so is the data analytic cloud services, which allow you to create the instance. Okay, let me give you a quick demo. Quick demo. So for these data analytic cloud services, so you can use your credit actually, and then you're able to see, or you're able to analyze some of your data in the Oracle Cloud Services. So for example, I'm going to try to log in, sign again to my Cloud Services again. Yep. So here is my another Cloud Services, I think. Yep. And you're able to take well to log sign. Actually, you can create some of the analytic or other cloud services. For example, on Hamburger, you can create your Mexico. You're able to go to your analytic cloud services. For this data analytic cloud services, I already create one instance from here, and you can make connection from your analytic cloud to your Oracle database. You can retrieve your data, and then you can visualize your application. So here's my name of my analytic cloud services. From here, you can create multiple. You can go to the analytic homepage, and you can create multiple, application. Okay, and then you can try to export to local and to analyze your data. You can analyze your data, contained in the Oracle database, or even you can try to analyze your data from your local file, actually. So here is a three. Here's the UK. Here's one of the example. So this is I'm going to try to use the data from the Oracle database. So here is my how many canvas I create over here. Oh, it's empty. So let me go back to over here, and so looks like there's nothing over here. Don't say. Let me try another one. In this account, I already create three. I think regional. Let me take a look. See. All right. Interesting. Okay. Actually, I just encourage you you can explore these functions yourself. Actually, you can create your data analytic, and somehow I already lost some of my settings. Okay, here is my project. Again. So, here's data. I'm so sorry. Here is my region analyze. Okay, here is my project. Okay, I just developed in the up here. I created 1, 2, 3, 4 canvases. Canvas over here. I try to analyze some of the data in the Oracle database. So it's based on the data from the Oracle. Here is some logic for the most visited country by the UK citizen in 2000, from the 2017 to 2017. So this site come from the database. So you can try to visualize my data and volumes of data over here. I'm going to try to analyze, for example, European with some of the data in the for different countries. Over here is without Spain and most of these countries. So different diagram, bar chart over here created in these analytic cloud services. So I encourage you to try to access to these cloud services yourself or your student. There are quite a lot of the services over here. So today I just cover a part of the core functionalities and features from the Oracle Academy. There are quite a lot of program new features okay, come from the Oracle. So please take time to go through the Oracle Academy content or go through our education badge to find out more useful information. So I think that's all for me. And so I try to take some of the questions. If you have, you can leave your question in the chat box, or maybe you can ask.
Okay. Mr. Jen?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much for the sharing of the knowledge. We do have lots of questions actually. Hope you will
Okay.
have to answer all the questions given to us, and I will read through all the questions. So the first one, is there any you have create? We can create classes in the learning, and then is there any maximum numbers of learners can the
Okay.
instructor?
Yeah, a good question actually. I believe you mentioned is in the member hub. Yes, actually in the member hub, you can create some of the virtual classroom in the member hub, and then for each classroom, I think we have some of the limitation for the number. I think not no more than up to 200. I think. It actually I think we do not have the limitation for the numbers of students are able to log into the each individual channel. For example, you create a Java channel, and then maybe you have 200 students, no problem. You just create 200 student account, or learner account in the hub, no problem. Yeah, you can.
Okay, that's a question from Robiza Sudin and Noriha from Kelantan. How to
Thank you.
become a member in Oracle Academy? They tried to register, but unfortunately they get an error.
Interesting question. So I think the Nulu, the Oracle Academy country manager who are going to help you to give you guidelines how to register for the to become a member of the Oracle Academy in Malaysia. So please leave your question over here. I think she'll reach out to you to help you to become a member of the Oracle Academy. Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, thank you. Jen, if
Sure,
I
sure,
could
sure.
just jump in there.
Jamie.
If the educator or the faculty is a faculty at the university, then all they have to do is register to be a faculty under that university. So it's pretty straightforward. The university has already gone through all of the membership requirements to be an Oracle Academy institution. So now all you have to do is register as a faculty, and then eventually your students will be able to get access via their teacher through that classroom. However, if their faculty is having a problem, then we do need to know about that so that we can help them. And the best way to do that is to work with Neural. If someone could pass that information on to Neural, that would be the best.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And another thing is, I see that lots of curriculum that you have been placed in the Oracle Academy. So if we as educator want to use this and teach using the Oracle Academy, do we need to be certified before we can use your Oracle Academy?
Okay, good question. Actually, we already developed quite a lot of the content. Okay, for free to use for our member. So I recommend the for some of the full curriculum, I recommend the members or faculty to become certified. I mean, we are providing the CPT version of the curriculum, the continuing professional development curriculum. So please, before you give any delivery of our training or delivery of our curriculum, I suggest you get certified where the CPT version of the curriculum in the member hub. So for example, if you're going to try to teach the database foundation curriculum, so we are offering the CPT version of the database foundation. Please self-study, or you can enroll into some of our training program. So you can contact with Nulu. So we'll help you to enroll for some of the our training program, and then you are going to get. I believe you are going to get pretty comfortable to deliver the Oracle Academy course.
Yeah. Indeed. Thank you, Jen. I think just to reinforce that, the self-study, the ability for you as an educator to access training materials on how to utilize the curriculum is available to you free as part of your membership. And some may be very experienced and can move through that material very quickly. Others might take more time. Some may move through that material without any support from Oracle Academy. Others may wish to ask questions and be in touch with one of our instructors as they work through that. But the bottom line is you can utilize this material as you see fit. We would recommend that you take up the certified professional development training that's available there. But if you're already quite practiced, for example, in Java programming, you may be able to understand everything we're providing you and incorporate it into your environment very quickly. If not, then we provide the training.
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, about certification, this is from Ivan Jaya. What are the types of Oracle Global certification for Java programming and database? The lower certification up to the highest certification levels. Also, are there certification for AI and machine learning?
I'll take that, Jen, if you like.
Sure.
We do have certification that's available from Oracle for anybody, students, faculty, deans, whoever wants to take up a certification, it is available. That is available from Oracle University. We have an organization that is the keeper of those particular certification qualifications. And they have an independent testing organization that actually does the tests and and assesses the exams. So we have certifications across every discipline of Oracle, including programming and database and AI and machine learning. For you to explore that, either as a student or as a faculty, you can go to the Oracle website and identify which certification you may wish to explore. From Oracle Academy, we offer you, as a member of Oracle Academy, a discount on that certification exam process. Okay, we don't actually provide you with the certification or the certification exam. Although, to apply for them, you apply for them through the Member Hub, and then Oracle understands that you are a member of Oracle Academy, and therefore you will be afforded a discount when you go to purchase that exam. And then when you purchase the exam, then that third party takes over and they organize when you do the exam and how you are assessed as to whether you have achieved the level to actually be certified. Oracle has different levels of certification. There's that you will see in the website, from basically an associate level to a professional level. But in Oracle Academy, we also offer a specific certification, which is our associate certification in Java and an associate certification in database that we offer you, still conducted through Oracle University and through the third party, but it's available to you as students. And that certification is more in line with the qualification that you would have if you were taken through the curriculum that we provide through the university, through the program. I hope that makes sense. I think the detail, I mean, I hope that from what you've seen through Jan's presentation is there is a lot available in the program. And what we would want to do is to sit with each of the faculty who are interested and who see this as being relevant, is sit with them and explore what are all the things. Some you'll be very interested in, some you may be interested in, and some you may not be. And then work with you to identify how we can help you put that into your classroom and how we can satisfy the needs of your students. I hope that helps.
So that's when we can actually plan out what are the courses that we want, and also what are the specifications that meet our students, so that they can have both from the curriculum side and also on the specifications side.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We can help them with their certification journey. Absolutely.
Another question is related to the curriculum that you have been prepared. For example, database learning pathway. So I see that there are three courses related to that. If let's say we in the faculty think that only one of the courses that we want to take, will that be possible, or we need to take all the three courses?
Chin, I'd be interested in your comments on this, but my response would be it's really up to you to determine which one you feel that you want to incorporate and which one you feel you'll need. You know, if you are already very experienced with AI and machine learning, and you
Yes, yes, actually, we are offering you can see from the database pathway, we are offering the 3 curriculum, right? From the database foundation or PLC code to the application development curriculum. Actually, you are free to customize all of these content, no problem. You can just use in the SQL, or maybe you are just interested into the database modeling, or I'm just interested in the application development. So of course, you can choose some of the part of the content to suit your requirement. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And also will that be for example, you have laid out the topics in the courses, and also we can select which one is related to us.
Yes, exactly. You can choose some of the topics in the any individual curriculum. Okay, in database. For example, we have the something like for example, we have 13 sections for the inside the database foundation curriculum, and then maybe you can just extract 3 or 4 sections. No problem. Some of the specific topics.
Okay, and another thing that I can see that you have hands-on and then project challenges, video and presentation. For example, let's say we are having a class related to database, and we want to use your project challenges as a project for the students. That also can be applied.
Exactly, no problem. Actually, for each curriculum, we are offering the embedded project inside the curriculum. For example, in the database foundation, in the database PLC code, we already provide some of the project or challenges, and we are also offering some of the independent project. So of course, you can use this independent project in the education batch, or maybe you can prefer to use some of the project inside the curriculum. The benefit using the project in the curriculum is which provides a step-by-step approach. So you can follow this instruction, and eventually students are able to develop some of the full functional, database or Java or whatever other, application or systems.
Okay, thank you. And I think this is the last question.
Okay, that's good news. Nice.
Okay. Can you share who's using the companies that you're using? Because this is a question from Muhammad Zikri bin Salahuddin, who's using Apex, and into what kind of things they are using this.
Okay, so Apex is a pretty powerful application development tools. Actually, internally, even for Oracle Academy, we are using quite a lot of the Apex internally. We develop a lot of the internal system by using the Apex, and then there are a lot of the customer. I mean the Oracle customer. They are using the Apex to develop the some of the system to complement their existing system. So I feel the Apex is give us a way to quickly develop some of the web application without knowledge about in order to develop some of the web application, you have to get some knowledge for example the JSP GSF, or how to control your workflow, your web application. You have to know something like the JavaScript, quite a lot of knowledge, around it, for this web application development. So by using the Apex, it's pretty simple for your student to build very professional web applications. It's quickly and more easy to develop some of the web applications. So there are a lot of the use case inside the Oracle, and there are a lot of the Oracle customer. They are using the Apex actually. So you can see there are a lot of the involvement, in the Apex.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jian, for the great session. So if there is no question, I will be proceed to the closing ceremony. So I'm going to now proceed to the next one. So now we are coming to the end of the event actually. So on behalf of the Oracle Day Committee, I would like to thank to all speakers that have shared their knowledge and experience this morning, and also thank you to all the attendees who has joined this knowledge sharing session, and thank you to all actually lecturers, students, all participants from throughout Malaysia, UiTM Shah Alam, Johor, Kedah, Kelantan, Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, Pahang, Perak, Perlis, Terengganu, and also to UPSI, Polytechnic, and also Institut Institut Pendidikan Guru Campus Ipoh, Perak, and also we are also very glad that our friends joining from across the sea, Universitas Bayangkara Jakarta Raya Indonesia, Universitas Esa Unggul Indonesia, and also from the BIN Search Expert and also Oracle Malaysia. I'm sorry if I did miss anyone in the list. So hope everyone has gained great benefits from this knowledge sharing session, and also to Oracle and Oracle Academy. We at UiTM is looking forward to continuous collaboration and linkages and through events and training with Oracle Corporation and Oracle Academy. So to all, the feedback form is available on screen and also chatbot. This is for the record of the participation and also for the certification. And again, thank you all and stay safe. Hope to see you all again in the upcoming events. I end our session with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining.
So, thank you.
Yang filling form.
Okay, bola buka.
Hello?